To prove continuous ownership of a 250-year-old land claim, you usually need a deed, but resolving that legal title becomes a massive forensic challenge when the original colonial documents are completely destroyed. In 1767, under Spanish colonial rule, the Visita General surveyed the rugged borderlands along the Rio Grande. The following year, an original settler named Juan José Solis took physical possession of his designated tract in this region. This tract, designated as Porción 107, was massive. It covered roughly 6,184 acres in what is now Starr County, Texas. Decades later, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo transferred jurisdiction of this land to the United States. Almost overnight, Tejano families faced extreme legal scrutiny over their property rights. To review and validate these colonial grants, the state formed the Borland-Miller Commission, which ultimately produced the 1852 Abstract of Land Claims. The 1852 Abstract confirmed the legal status of Porción 107, acting as a blanket protection for the heirs. But defending specific title rights today requires proving an exact biological connection to those specific 19th century occupants. When the commission arrived in Starr County in 1850, the climate was highly volatile. Local residents feared the new Texas government intended to dispossess them of their property. Landholding families initially boycotted the hearings. They believed that handing over their original Spanish documents would provide a roadmap for land speculators to exploit legal technicalities. The standoff reached a breaking point when Commissioner Miller departed the Rio Grande Valley in frustration, taking with him a trunk containing the few original titles they had managed to collect. Miller boarded the steamship Anson near Port Isabel. During a severe coastal storm, the ship sank. The original 1767 and 1768 Spanish land grants, the testimonios, sank with the ship and were lost to the sea. This forced heirs into a scramble. They had to reconstruct their claims using secondary evidence, witness affidavits, and generalized abstracts. The Anson shipwreck created a permanent documentary vacuum. Without those original deeds, modern descendants remain legally vulnerable unless a new form of forensic evidence can bridge the historical gap. Researchers typically start with traditional analog documentation, extracting 19th century probate minutes and deed records to map the chain of custody. This visualizes the Hayuela system. Inheritance laws dictated that massive riverfront tracts be sliced vertically, guaranteeing equitable water access. Following Juan José Solis's death, the court partitioned the estate. A specific slice was legally conveyed to his son, Marcelino. Starr County deed records capture the subsequent management of that specific acreage. Mapping the next line of descent, those records show the conveyance from Marcelino Solis to a specific subplot inherited by Antonio Solis Sr. This archival trace maps the legal transfer of property rights, but it inherently lacks the definitive proof of biological identity required to satisfy modern legal challenges. The core flaw in relying on 19th century paper trails is the namesake vulnerability. Within large, historically endogamous communities, finding a name like Marcelino Solis on a deed only proves someone with that exact name owned the land. It does not prove they are the claimant's direct ancestor. This historical ambiguity leaves legacy titles open to aggressive post-war land speculation and modern disputes over mineral rights. To resolve these conflicting identities, researchers use the Genealogical Proof Standard, a rigorous methodology for verifying historical relationships. Without the original patents lost on the Anson, a purely paper-based claim rests only on a preponderance of the evidence. A mere preponderance is legally insufficient. To elevate this lineage claim to a scientifically verified fact, researchers must deploy digital genomic data. The biological solution is found in the Bernal-Garcia genomic signature analysis. This mock-up of a DNA database interface illustrates autosomal DNA triangulation. This tool uses modern genetic databases to reverse engineer historical family trees. The specific objective is isolating a shared genetic block that has survived intact across multiple generations of the Solis family. This chromosome browser targets exact forensic coordinates, haplogroup N1A, and an autosomal alignment on chromosome 9. We isolate a specific data block located exactly between 16 and 74 megabase pairs. Comparing modern descendant lines shows 3 distinct branches aligning at this exact location. This genomic alignment mathematically isolates the unique biological signature of the Porción 107 heirs. It resolves the namesake vulnerability by identifying the specific biological successors of the 1852 claimants. We return to the 1852 Borland-Miller Confirmation Act. This split-screen composite illustrates a forensic bridge. It directly connects the 16 to 74 megabase pair chromosome 9 data block to the specific historical occupant, Antonio Solis Sr., documented in the General Land Office archives. By synthesizing the archival paper trail with genomic data, this method officially cures the documentary vacuum caused by the Anson shipwreck. The genetic sequence provides a biological record that aligns with the chain of title established following the 1852 Act. By combining these records, researchers can satisfy the burden of proof required for land title defense despite the missing original documents. We have successfully traced and verified an unbroken line from the 1767 Visita General to the present day. This methodology provides a precise framework for resolving other historic Quijano land claims and modern surface and mineral rights disputes. To formalize this kinship determination project, the data must adhere to strict guidelines, including ISO 8601 data standards and the Board for Certification of Genealogists. This proof reestablishes the connection for the Portion 107 heirs, using genomic science to restore a historical record